Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's another Al Gattuso Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer, the final week of March. And have you been watching all the March Madness, all the college basketball, all the craziness that is college basketball? I love it. See, I'm not a big college basketball guy, but I absolutely watch during March Madness. It's fun. I mean, especially the first weekend, because there's always some sort of upset. There's always somebody, some team does something to knock off a 1 or a 2 or whatever, and people go bananas. To me, it's a lot of fun. The drama, it's fun. It's fun. And I'm not a betting guy. I don't do a bracket thing. I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't do fantasy baseball, football, all of that stuff. I never understood the concept. I get it. It's a multi-million, probably billion-dollar business, right? But I've never understood rooting for players on different teams to get you to victory, and it just doesn't keep my interest. It doesn't. I root for a team. I want to see my team do well. I don't care about now, again, in the grander scheme of sports, do I like to see individual players doing well? Sure, as long as it's not against my football team, which is the Giants. But, what are you going to do? Baseball is back. I mean, summer is on its way. There's a lot of stuff going on. Now, coming up in a little bit, Dani Casey, one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing, she's going to join me on the program. They're celebrating 10 years as a brewery in early May. We're going to chat about that along with a few other things. They have a new beer that'll be that has been released now, but it is actually going to be pouring in New York City in a couple of weeks. I believe they also have some other announcements that maybe they're going to be somewhere in New Jersey in April. We will find out all of that from Dani in just a little bit. But first up, our good friends at Departed Souls, Brian Kulbacki, has sort of released a non-alcoholic, 100% certified gluten-free beer. I think this is really cool. Now, by the time you listen to this, it might be gone, but they're looking for feedback on this because they want to do a non-alcoholic gluten-free beer that everyone can enjoy. It's fermented in one of their dedicated gluten-free fermenters with a maltose negative yeast, arrested fermentation, cold, dry hop, canned on our dedicated gluten-free canning line setup, pasteurized immediately to 300 PUs. It is crafted in memory of his good friend Chris and Katerina so that everyone can enjoy the camaraderie around craft beer and the brewery experience. And no shade, but a hell of a lot better than Go Brewing's GF non-alcoholic IPA. It's a bold statement, but we shall see. So if you're in the area and you're in Jersey City, go try the new non-alcoholic gluten-free beer from Departed Souls. I don't think you're going to be disappointed in that one. Plain and simple. Now, the New York State Brewers Association handed out their winners for 2026 last week. It was the Friday before this past one. And I don't want to get too far into it. If you go to nyscbc.com/2026-winners, you can see all of the winners. But the Governor's Excelsior Craft Beer Cup went to Wild East Brewing. Kudos to them. They make fantastic beer. And this was for their Hexenkessel. It's a dark lager. No surprise there. I love a good dark lager. But they won the Governor's Cup, which is it's so well-deserved. Wild East is doing such a tremendous job with their brews. And if you haven't been to Sackett Street, you should. Strong Rope just closed over the weekend a couple blocks away, but you certainly want to get yourself over to Wild East. You will not be disappointed. The bar setup is awesome. They're just a great place, and I really have to make it a point to get back to Brooklyn at some point in the next – well, I am going to be in Brooklyn, but I'm going to be in Williamsburg in a couple weeks. But I got to get back over to that area of Brooklyn for a hang for a little day drinking on a Saturday. Why not? The 2026 New York State Brewery of the Year is Grimm Artisanal Ales. This is the 5th time that they've won it. They won it in 2021, 2022, and then the last 3 years – they have been the New York State Brewery of the Year. They got 3 gold medals, 2 silver, 3 bronze for 16 points. That's the highest number of points in the competition, and kudos to them as the New York State Brewery of the Year. Grimm makes some great stuff as well. They are just absolutely killing it. I'm not going to go through the whole list. It's a lengthy list. There's a ton of different breweries here that have been recognized. Our friends at Killsborough have been recognized, a lot of other places. But again, like I said, I gave you the link, nyscbc.com. They had their Craft Brewers Conference. I heard good things came out of there. So it is definitely something that you want to check out if you want to check out all the winners. But kudos to Wild East. Kudos to Grimm for the Governor's Cup for Wild East and the New York State Brewery of the Year from Grimm. Now, if you head down to Cape May or Wildwood this summer for vacation, and there are many that do, or you're coming over from Delaware and you take the Cape May Lewis Ferry without a personal vehicle, right? You come over for the day, you want to walk around Cape May, and then head back to Delaware. Well, there is a new thing. A lot of times you jump on a lift, you grab a taxi cab to try and go to different breweries and wineries in and around that area. Well, a hop-on, hop-off shuttle is being started this summer that will transport visitors between the Wildwoods and Cape May, offering access to local wineries, breweries, as well as the Cape May Lewis Ferry without requiring a car. The Coastal Cruiser, which is being operated by Metropolis Passenger Logistics, will run Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., beginning Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend. Multiple air-conditioned shuttles will travel a continuous loop, arriving at each stop every 20 to 30 minutes. 2 shuttles will depart daily, one from the Wildwood Boardwalk and another from Cape May Rotary Park. Riders can track shuttles in real time through a mobile app, and the vehicles will include bike racks. So if you have a bicycle and you want to put your bike on there, they will take your bike. Michael Barato, the founder and president of Michael Barato, founder and president of Metropolis Passenger Logistics, said he recognized the transportation gap after purchasing a home in Wildwood. He said, I realized that there was a disconnect of commuter services and transit services between the shore towns like Cape May and Wildwood. I felt that there is a huge demand in these communities for micro shuttles, and I'm excited we can create this opportunity. So the route includes stops at Hawkhaven Vineyard, Cape May Winery, Willow Creek Winery, Turtle Vineyards, Naughty Spirits, Cape May Brewery, Mudhen Brewery, Bear Brewing Company, and the Cape May Lewis Ferry Terminal. That's awesome. So if you want to go out for the day and you're in any of these spots, whether it's, the Wildwood Boardwalk or Cape May Rotary Park, you can jump on the bus. You pay a fee. Day passes cost $40 when purchased in advance. It's $45 at the shuttle. Each additional day purchase receives a $5 discount. Riders can bring one carry-on sized bag at no charge with a $25 fee for each extra bag and a $35 fee to use the bike rack. You can purchase your tickets at thecoastalcruiser.com. That's awesome. So if you're down there for vacation in South Jersey and you want to jump around, that's really cool. I think that's a great idea. And it encourages that you don't drink and drive, which is always important. We mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before that, Caroline Falk, who is the creator of Beer Girl, went on to ABC's Shark Tank to come out with an investment. And she has apparently struck a potential investment. She pitched the 3-year-old lager brand to a panel of investment sharks, caught the attention of the episode's guest investor, Uncle Nearest founder, Fawn Weaver. She had asked Falk for $125,000 for a 10% stake in the brand, which she pitched as a low ABV alternative to light lagers. Now, we've had Caroline on the show. Weaver ended up as the only investor willing to bite, telling Falk that she has something special, but her offer would be sharky. She offered $125,000 for 20% of Beer Girl. She basically said she wanted to come up with a third model here. The episode released on the same day that Weaver unsuccessfully filed for bankruptcy for her embattled whiskey company, which a court-appointed receiver described as unauthorized bankruptcy filings in a motion to dismiss, which a judge granted a day later. Uncle Nearest and its related companies have been in receivership since August of last year after defaulting on more than $100 million in loans. That it was pre-recorded, the episode. It made no mention of that receivership or any of the company's financial and legal troubles. Falk offered a counter to Weaver, $125,000. I think they got the comma wrong there, for a 20% stake, but also a $500,000 line of credit, which she would pay interest on. But Weaver stood firm. Falk later accepted the offer. They have a Beer Girl spokesperson has not responded to questions about whether an agreement was actually signed with Weaver. So we will hopefully find out some more information soon. But if the deal is done, kudos to Caroline and Beer Girl. Now, I've not had an opportunity to have the beer. I've heard good things about it. I think it's interesting that she wanted to go on Shark Tank. And look, it's a tough time for people in the beer business. It's a very tough time. So you have to wonder. If this is a smart move. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I know that Beer Girl is all throughout California. I believe they just expanded distro to Arizona. But I think she's looking to jump on as a nationwide brand. We'll see what happens there. Now, when we come back after a short break, we're going to have more news and notes from around the beer world, including the good news that as of this past Friday, you can actually purchase alcoholic beverages on the Staten Island Ferry. Yeah, that's right. Actually purchase alcoholic beverages on the Staten Island Ferry. It's been a long time coming. It's been a while since you've been able to purchase anything like that on the Staten Island Ferry. We'll give you the details coming up next on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Coming up, just a few minutes, Dani Casey, one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing, is going to join me on the program. Celebrating 10 years as a brewery in early May. We're going to chat about that, including where they're going to be pouring in New Jersey next month. You definitely want to hear about that. A lot of other stuff. We had a great chat with Dani. That'll be the final segment of the program. That's coming up in just a little bit. The 28th annual legendary Boonville Beer Fest is only 6 weeks away. It's Saturday, May 2nd. You still have time to get early bird pricing at $65 per ticket. It's going to be a huge one, so don't miss out, as they say. More breweries, cideries, and meaderies, a brand new VIP experience, great live music, amazing food and merch vendors, even an assortment of non-alcoholic options for your designated driver or non-drinking friends. Best of all, some of the most amazing people you'll ever meet, here to have fun in one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's legendary for a reason, and they want you to get your tickets now. They call it the Legend of Drunken Master, is what they're calling it, by Anderson Valley Brewing Company. This is a non-profit event. They're offering, like I said, a VIP experience. You get early entry, access to a cool tent area, special pours, snacks, a one-of-a-kind swag bag. Some really nice breweries that are going to be at this event all around California. Alameda, Almanac, Deschutes will be there, Fieldwork, Ghost Town Brewing, just naming a bunch of these here. Moonlight, North Coast, Pizza Port will be there, Russian River will be there, Sapporo Stone, Solano, Stumptown, Touchstone Brewery, and a whole bunch more. You can get your tickets over at Eventbrite if you do a search on Eventbrite for the Boonville Beer Festival. You will find all the info there and how to purchase a ticket. So, good stuff going on there. Now, New Jersey Pint Day, a little breaking news for you. I found this out because our good friend Alexis Deegan, who's been on the program before, who was the executive director of the New Jersey Brewers Guild. Now it's the Brewers Guild of New Jersey. They were doing a woman beer day over at Tall Oaks Farm and Brewery, right? So she had taken some pictures, and one of the things is was a sign that said New Jersey Pint Day. So there are pint glasses that are being made with all kinds of New Jersey stuff. And Pint Day is going to be June the 4th. And they're rebranding a little the Brewers Guild of New Jersey. They are saying that New Jersey is the beer garden state. I love it. I love it. We are the garden state, right? And now we're the beer garden state. I love that. Easy drinking lager with honey and lemon zest is the women's beer that's being created. It's created by all the women that are involved with the guild, and it's being brewed by Tall Oaks. The proceeds will benefit the Brewers Guild of New Jersey. When we have a release date on that, we will certainly get it to you. And we got to have Bree Devlin back on, the executive director of the Brewers Guild of New Jersey. So that's cool. New Jersey Pint Day on June the 4th. The Veil on Saturday, April 18th at all three tap rooms. They are celebrating their 10th anniversary. They have a lot in store. 10 different cans, 10-plus barrel-aged bottles, including 3 ultra-limited secret releases, collaborations with over 10 breweries, limited glassware, including a free glass for the first guests in line, plus guest taps, exclusive merch, DJ, burger collabs, and a lot more. So here's the first 3 bottle releases. Listen to this. A double-barrel Sleeping Forever Grand Cru. This is the Decades one for this year, 2026. It's a special 10-year anniversary edition of the pinnacle of our barrel-aged stout program, aged in 1, 2, and 3 years in Buffalo Trace barrels, then blended and backfilled into freshly dumped Elijah Craig 23-year barrels for an additional 2 years. Exceptionally refined with layers of sweet tobacco, fudge brownie, rich affogato, melted dark chocolate, top shelf bourbon, and balanced American oak. It's a 15% ABV. It's a 500 milliliter bottle. It's at $30 for the bottle and only released every 10 years. Double vanilla, double barrel, Sleeping Forever Grand Cru Decades. The next one, right? Frozen colorway. That's what they're calling it. This, again, same sort of format. Again, 15% ABV. They only have 45 bottles of this. It's a 500 milliliter bottle. The price for this one is $45. The first one that I talked about, there's 500 bottles. This one, there's only 45 bottles, and it's $45 a bottle. Then you have the Bananas Foster Bourbon Barrel Sleeping Forever. It's aged in Heaven Hill Bourbon Barrels. It's an anniversary Imperial Stout for 23 months. Then it's conditioned on wild Thai bananas, whole Madagascar vanilla beans, caramel sauce, brown sugar, and Vietnamese cinnamon. Tasting notes of Banana Foster, pan-fried bananas, Hershey syrup, and chocolate honey truffles. This clocks in at 14.5%. It's a 500 milliliter bottle. There are 450 bottles available. This is $35. I mean, my goodness. Whew. Just reading those things, my blood sugar jumped about 50 points easily, maybe 100. Whew. Some good stuff. Now, it's pricey. It's pricey. But understand that, listen, it's a big to-do, all right? Let's put it that way. Booze on the Staten Island Ferry. That's right. Teased it before. Alcohol being sold on the Staten Island Ferry for the first time in 5 years. That started this past Friday. Canned cocktails, beers, and hard seltzers will be offered on the SSG Michael H. Ollis Ferry. The Sandy Ground and Dorothy Day ferries will begin offering alcoholic drinks within the next few weeks. So right now, this is only on the Michael Ollis Ferry, but the other 2 ferries will have alcoholic beverages in the next few weeks. As New York City DOT Commissioner Mike Flynn says, the Staten Island Ferry is already one of the best and most scenic rides in the world. Now it's even better. Councilmember Frank Morano, friend of the program, says, I've always tried to stay focused on the business of governing, but I'd be lying if I said this won't factor into my decision the next time I'm choosing between the ferry and the express bus. I've drank with Frank. Yes, he's right. He's right about that. Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis called the return of alcohol a welcome addition for commuters who want to unwind after work. Ferries will also begin to offer pretzels and popcorn as part of the expanding menu. I used to get a pretzel on the ferry all the time. Why did they take that away? In 2024, ferries began to offer coffee and snacks to passengers after phasing out the practice during the pandemic. Obviously, a lot of this stuff taken away during the pandemic. Commissioner Flynn says, whether you're commuting or just taking in the skyline, riders of the original fast and free transit service can once again enjoy their choice of a piping hot coffee or an iced cold brew. The Staten Island Ferry serves around 16 million riders annually and around 45,000 on the average weekday. It is the busiest municipal ferry service in the country, according to the DOT. Look, growing up on Staten Island, starting in the radio business 30-something years ago, the ferry was my lifeline. I didn't have a car. I had to take the ferry into the city, then catch a train. It was always nice to come back on the ferry, buy a tall boy in a paper bag, sit on the ferry. It's a half-hour ride from Lower Manhattan to Staten Island, sip on that beer, and sort of unwind. So that's awesome that they are offering those things again on the Staten Island Ferry. Very cool. And if you've never taken the Staten Island Ferry, you come to New York City, you have to do it. You know why? It's free. You don't have to pay. It's a beautiful ride. You ride past the Statue of Liberty. If you don't want to go to the Statue of Liberty, if you don't want to do those things, it's an easy, free ride. And then when you get to Staten Island, take a 20-minute walk along the terrace, see all the tugboats, stop at Killsborough, have yourself a beer and a great meal, and then walk Snug Harbor right next door to walk it off. There you go. Stone Brewing. Our good friends at Stone have announced that there is a new beer destination at Petco Park. The Stone Brewing Tap Room has taken over the upper-level bar adjacent to Section 309. With sweeping Coronado and downtown views, attendees can now enjoy game day with a rotating lineup of Stone Brewing beers, including Stone IPA, Delicious Hazy IPA, Buena Vista Lager, Fear, Movie, Lions Hazy IPA, Stone's rotating line of seasonal West Coast IPA releases. Currently right now it's Stone Green Buds IPA and Stone Pilsner. Padre season ticket members can get their discounted pregame beers at the new Stone Tap Room from the time member gates open until first pitch, and then and the Stone Brewing destination remains open and serving beers until 30 minutes after the end of the game. The newly renovated tap room space combines the Padres' signature colors, San Diego sunsets, and Stone Brewing's iconography. Yeah, iconography. Why am I having trouble pronouncing that? Including the watchful Stone Brewing's gargoyle, which is the brewery's loyal guardian and symbol of quality. You can take photos of the gargoyle. You can enjoy gargoyle wings. Fans can also find fists. Be double-fisted, right? Fans can also find Stone beers at a new bar location in left field, section 126. Also behind home plate, craft beer row, and in craft beer fridges throughout the park. Stone Brewing on the socials, and find.stonebrewing.com for more information on where to find Stone Brewing beers. Love Stone. And I hope I can squeeze in getting out there for their 30th anniversary. I would really like to go. We have to see if things line up properly, and that would be a gas. All right, when we come back after a short break, a little more news and notes to finish up, and then Dani Casey is going to join me to wrap up the show, including in our next segment, our weekly visit with Gary Monterosso. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. All right, welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Spring is here. Summertime is right around the corner. I can't wait to have, I hope, a relaxing summertime. That would be really nice. It would be a change of pace. Anyway, coming up in just a few minutes, Dani Casey, one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing, is going to join me on the program for the rest of the show. But we certainly have some quick news to get to. Why don't we do this? Let's do our little segment with Gary Monterosso first, and then I'll come back and we'll finish up with a little news. So here it is, Gary Monterosso.
I'm Gary Monterosso for the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast. Have you ever walked into a bottle shop planning to grab something familiar and leave with a beer you've never heard of? Yeah, that's label art doing its job. In today's craft beer world, the can or bottle is basically the first impression. Before you know the style, before you can check the ABV, that's the alcohol content, you're reacting to the design. Bright colors, bold graphics, maybe something funny or nostalgic, it grabs your attention in a crowded cooler. And with hundreds of options, breweries know they've got just a few seconds to stand out. But it goes deeper than just looking cool. Label art helps tell a story. It can signal whether a beer is fun and experimental or traditional and refined. In a lot of ways, it sets your expectations before the first sip. And here's the reality. Many buyers admit they've taken a chance on a beer just because the label caught their eye. And of course, great art doesn't guarantee great beer, but it does get that beer into your hands. And in a competitive market, sometimes that's half the battle.
Well, Gary is not wrong on that one. Thank you, Gary. We do appreciate it. He is absolutely not wrong. I have purchased beer before where I've seen the label and I've said to myself, this looks good and I'm going to try it. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But thank you, Gary. We appreciate that. Remember, that label art, that's important. Got to catch your eye sometimes. We'll see. A pizza-flavored beer with actual pizza put in the beer? Yeah. Apparently, this is a Long Island brewery that is in Nassau County that is putting pizza slices in beer. Oyster Bay Brewing Company and King Umberto in Elmont teaming up, creating a pizza-inspired craft beer brewed with actual slices. It's a mashup, part of Nassau County's second annual 516-day celebration. The beer's coming out on May 16th. Spotlighting local businesses and homegrown flavors. Plain slices from King Umberto mixed in with the grains during brewing. Don't expect your pint to taste like a pizza. There won't be nearly enough pizza in there to change the taste, says Oyster Bay Brewing co-founder Ryan Schlatter, who told this to Greater Long Island. While the flavor won't taste anything like pizza, It will be mixed in, and it's a nod to another one of Long Island staples. It is something closer to a Pilsner, easy drinking, built to pair naturally with a slice. Cool stuff. So that'll be coming out on May the 16th. A new survey says that Gen Z would rather not drink. It's a Lending Tree report that found that 53% of Gen Z reported they don't drink. It was followed by 47% of baby boomers and Gen Xers who also avoid spirits. Millennials were found to be the most likely to drink, with 63% saying they do. Overall, 56% of Americans say they consume alcohol. I think the number is up on Gen Xers. I think it's a little down on the millennials, and I tend to agree that Gen Z does not drink. And that's okay. There's a story, maybe if we can get to it next week, in the Times about restaurants and how people aren't coming in and buying alcohol. They just want to eat and leave. And that's putting a bottom line in their business. If I remember, maybe we'll talk about that next week. Ghost Hawk Brewing is turning 7 next month, Saturday, April 18th at noon. They're throwing a big party, food trucks, live music, amazing local vendors, a beer tent in the parking lot, fresh anniversary beer releases, and more. As soon as we get the details on all of that, we will get it to you. That's Ghost Hawk Brewing, right across the street from the legendary hot dog stand, Rutt's Hut, Saturday, April 18th, starting at noon. When we come back after a short break, Dani Casey, one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing, joins me on the program for the rest of the show. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Spring is just around the corner, but if you live in this area of the country, spring doesn't really start probably until the end of April, beginning of May. And my guest is one of the co-owners of an awesome brewery in Vermont. They're celebrating 10 years as a business in early May. More info on the brewery, you just go to foambrewers.com. But let me welcome back to the Craft Beer Cast. I met her last summer when they just started distroing in New Jersey, and she is back again on the program here on AM 970, The Answer. Dani Casey. Dani, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I am great. I do have to ask you, when you started this journey with Todd and Robert and Sam, did you think that you guys would be here 10 years later today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always believed that in my heart. I mean, that was always the goal, to have a long-term run at the brewery. Where we are today, I think, is definitely a different place than what we had envisioned it to be. So it's interesting, like, kind of like the path that you take to get to where you're going, right. Especially when you don't really know where that is.
and that's the thing. I mean, you guys have a plan, like, all right, this is what we want to do when you start, and then obviously things change, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's you know, sales are surging, sales are not surging. What do we do? How do we shift? And I think it speaks to the volumes of the four of you that you've been able to navigate through all of those different things, and 10 years later you're still here and just cranking out great stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a great journey, and we're excited to celebrate in May.
And well, the anniversary party, speaking of that, taking place the weekend of May 1st through the 3rd. Are there beers already in the tanks that'll be released that weekend? What do you guys have that we can sort of tease the listener a little bit with?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we're super excited. So we have a whole weekend of programming down at the brewery, like we usually do every year, just like live music, food trucks, different entertainment, face painting, art, all that kind of jazz. But this year we're doing something a little different, and on Saturday night, we're actually hosting a show at Higher Ground, which is the bigger music venue here in Burlington, and we have Built to Spill coming to play, which is super exciting. It's a band that all of us have had, just a lot of love for, and that have inspired a lot in our brewing and our beer, specifically Built to Spill, which is our first double IPA that we ever brewed, and a beer that we make quite a bit of these days. So we're super pumped to have them. That show is actually already sold out at Higher Ground. Wow. It's sold out in like just a few days. So like super excited about that. And then, we're going to be releasing a bunch of new beers. So really cool. We are doing a mixed 8-pack this year. the first time that we've ever done anything in that format, and we're going to have 8 different beers in the pack. So it's called Some Things Last a Long Time. So that's a Built to Spill cover song. That is the name of the event and of the mix pack. And in that mix pack, the 5 of us, so it's actually, there's 5 of us partners. We each kind of brewed a beer that kind of drawing on our history of like beers that we grew up with that really inspired us to want to be in this industry. Okay. We each have kind of a different inspiration that we drew upon. So within that pack, my beer is a pale ale. I'm kind of drawn on Sierra Nevada. So I'm kind of doing like an East Coast meets West Coast pale ale. So kind of like with that really like piney notes of Sierra, kind of more of a West Coast style, but I'm doing the more brighter version, and we're going to throw in some Idaho 7 to get some of that like juiciness in there that is more prevalent on the East Coast pale ales. And then my partners are all doing a different beer. Todd is doing a steam style beer inspired by Anchor Steam. Vermont is, John is doing a Vermont IPA inspired by some of the stuff that out of The Alchemist back in the early days. Nice. And Bob is doing a Saison inspired by Saison DuPont. And Sam Keen is doing a Dortmunder Lager. He grew up in Ohio, so he drew inspiration from the beer that Great Lakes used to do out there.
Nice. Now,
and then, yeah.
So the 8-pack, is it 16-ounce cans or 12-ounce cans?
16-ounce cans.
Nice.
So you'll get one of each of those beers, and then we're doing altogether a triple IPA, a brand new beer. Something's last a long time is the triple IPA. That'll be in there, and then to round out the pack, we're going to throw in our two go-to beers, Built to Spill and Dead Flowers.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's, I mean, listen, 8 beers and all different styles, that's pretty cool. We're talking with Dani Casey. She's one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing. The anniversary party takes place the weekend of May 1st through the 3rd. For more info on the brewery and their tap room, you just head over to foambrewers.com. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. Now, you mentioned about how Built to Spill is playing. Did they have any input on this version of Built to Spill that you're going to be putting out? Did they have any input as to what they want? Or have they, I guess that's the easier question. Have they drank the beer? Have they had the beer?
So yeah, I think they have. So they've played in the last time they played in Burlington, we brought beer down there to share with them, and I think that was like before we were even distributing beer to like accounts or anything. But we had heard that they were in town, so we made sure to bring over the beer for them. So they are aware of the beer and the brewery, and we're really excited that it worked out. So. It should be quite the event.
That's very cool. Now, talk to me for a minute about the recent collab that you guys did with Bissell Brothers. You guys were so excited all over social media. Why did it take so long to get a collab together with these guys, and what style of beer was it?
Yeah, so just some things, they take a long time to get everybody together. Everybody's just so busy and, just to align the plans. But, yeah, we're happy to make it happen. It's a double IPA. That we did with them, and we've been kind of friends with those guys for a long time. When we first started, I think they were started just a few years before us, so we're kind of like in like a similar time of opening, and I think that our brands both align really well in terms of like how we want to support our local ag. And, the style of beers that we brew and our ties to the arts and things like that. So this beer specifically was brewed with Blue Ox malt. So that's out of Maine. It's a Yankee Pilsner. And then we blended that with some Vermont-grown flaked oats and wheat from New England Northeast Kingdom grains. So we both use some of our local grains. And then we dry hop with Citra Nelson and Peacherine. Which was from Australia or from New Zealand.
I have a friend who loves the Peacherine hop. Like he's obsessed with it. That every time he sees it somewhere, he's got to get it within a beer. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really like a lot of like stone fruit notes, a lot of tropical. Does not drink. It's an 8% double IPA. Does not drink like that. And then we had Jackson Tupper, who is actually the artist that did the Built to Spill label.
Right.
He did the label for this beer. It's a Modest Mouse song, The World at Large. And it's just really, really cool art. And Jackson is actually also from Maine, so it was kind of a cool tie-in to, like, the Maine-Vermont connection. So, yeah, so super excited. That beer, we released it last Friday, and I think we're already out of it at the brewery. And then it was fun, too, because they don't really sell Bissell Brothers in Vermont, so we brought in some of their beer, and we poured it at our tap room and sold some of their 4-packs as well, which went really, really fast. So
very cool.
I know I was checking before we chatted, but it doesn't look like any of this beer made it down to the New Jersey, New York area, unfortunately. But I guess just one plug I would say is, if folks are, looking for specific beers, talk to your local, bar or liquor store, so you can ask them if that's something that you want. We work with Remarkable for a distributor. And we also have a beer finder on our website now, which is really cool. So you can plug in your zip code or what beers you're looking for and see where you can go get it. So.
Good stuff all the way around. We're talking with Dani Casey, one of the co-owners of Foam Brewers. The anniversary party is taking place the weekend of May 1st through the 3rd. Built to Spill, the band that'll be playing, it's already sold out, so you can't get tickets for that. FoamBrewers.com is the website for more information about the brewery and their tap room. We're here on the Algatullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. I do have to ask, Dani, that the Bissell Brothers beer sold out. You're doing so great with all these different things, but yet all the stories that are in the media these days are about how, Gen Z isn't drinking, Gen X is cutting back, this one is this. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that in your tap room? Are you seeing when people come in, less consumption, or is it more takeout? I mean, I think it depends on the individual place, but how are you guys dealing with it right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I think it's just been a roller coaster ever since the pandemic, but I mean, I think that we've, this year at least so far, it's been very promising. Things seem to be kind of perking back up. So, I think that craft beer, along with most industries, are very, they go round and round, and things go up and things go down. So you just have to, position yourself and create a business that's able to sustain through the ups and the downs and the lows and the lulls. Right. And I think that we've done that. And, I think that the kids are coming back, so we'll see. I'm optimistic.
All right. Well, there you go. Now, you mentioned to me a few weeks back when we chatted that Foam, which obviously we just mentioned that they do distro in New Jersey and New York. Now, you guys are going to be coming down to Pour at the Atlantic City Beer and Music Fest on Saturday, April 11th. How excited are you guys for that?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm actually going to be the one coming down. So, as you know, my parents live down in Barnegat, New Jersey. Right. So, something that I've seen a lot, and I know a lot of my friends have gone to the festival in the past, but we've never really had a big presence. So, this year we're really excited to go down. My husband and I are actually going to come down and pour the beer for the 2 sessions. So, if anybody's there, come say hi. We're bringing Built to Spill, Dead Flowers, and Tranquil Pills. So, we'll have a little bit of a spectrum there of, a lighter, easy drinking lager into a double IPA.
Awesome.
Well, so we're excited. It should be fun.
It's the last
be our
one.
First and last one, I guess.
Last one, 20 years. I will be at the second session, the night session. I've got tickets for the VIP. I'm doing the rare beer tasting the night before. I mean, John puts on an amazing job at the event, and I think he just, 20 years is a heck of a run when it comes to Beer Fest. So you're going to enjoy. You guys are going to enjoy it a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm really excited. I'm glad that we got it in on it before it was done.
I will certainly see you there. Now, after 10 years, is it still fun and exciting to be brewing the beers that you guys enjoy and have fun inside and outside of the brewery?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, we always are keeping things fresh and new, and there's new experiences. So even just like going to Atlantic City, it's like, I've been in the beer industry for 20 years. I've never been to that festival, so that's a new fun thing that we're doing. This project for our 10-year anniversary has been really reinvigorating, and I got into the brew house, got to brew the beer and think about the recipe, and it's kind of important, I think, to continue to push yourself, but also kind of go back and do the things that maybe you don't do anymore in your everyday. Mm-hmm. For me, my job is way different now than it used to be back in the day when I was really just doing festivals and working in the front of house and being very interactive. So I think it's important to continue to, like, take a step back from, your day-to-day and, like, enjoy the fun stuff.
There it is.
Like the traveling, the events, the brewing, the drinking, like not drinking excessively, but
right.
trying the beers after work, going in and having a conversation with the brewers. And
Dani,
it is super fun.
I think you're 100% right on that. I think if you are still doing this in this business 5-10 years later and you aren't going back to the things that you did, whether it's brewing a beer, putting a recipe together, doing those things, that's where I think sometimes, and this is for any business, you lose touch, you lose sight of what the business is all about maybe sometimes because you're in a certain place now and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I think for a brewery or a bit, any business, it's good to get back to the roots of what got you here, and I think that's a great thing. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask about one of the new beers that you just released, Everything in its Right Place. It's a West Coast IPA, but it's not only is it in your tap room right now, but it's going to be poured at Blind Tiger Ale House on April the 15th. Is there a story behind that, why it's getting poured there? Yeah,
so it's a collaboration with Mike Lavolo, and he is one of the distributors down there and a friend of the brewery. And we did something similar last year with a different beer. So it's to celebrate his birthday. And we're going to be going down there to release the beer. And we have it on draft right now. I actually had a sample of it yesterday after work. It was delicious.
Nice.
It's a double IPA, which is interesting for West Coast take on that. And it's, really like grapefruit, honeysuckle, pine and resin.
All right.
Really good.
Nice.
Also doesn't taste like an 8.5% beer, but
I like that. Now, all right. My last question. You're heading into year 11 as a brewery. What's the mission moving forward? Have you guys planned that out yet? Does it continue to make kick-ass suds and host great music? Does it expand the distro, or is there something else?
I mean, we are kind of just finding our sweet spot, I'd say. Like, we did an expansion last year in the brewery. Not a huge one, but just a little one to kind of give ourselves a little bit more room. So we're, I think, in a phase where we're just trying to dial things in and continue to mature. I mean, we're always doing new things, but we also recognize that as we do distribute more, we need to kind of focus things in a little bit and, make the things that we do special, really special and not, and like kind of like put a lot behind them. So like the Bissell Brothers collab is a great example of that, something that we've been wanting to do for a really long time. We put a lot of effort behind it, and we did a pretty large batch of it, and, we put it out there into the market. So just, I guess, maturing, as we get into our double digits.
Yeah, not too much maturing. It's not too much maturing. We're still having fun, right? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, we have the tap room on Lake Street, so, I like to say we continue to grow like horizontally instead of like in terms of barrelage. Mm-hmm. Like we're not a very big barrel brewery, but like we like to grow the things we do, try new things, and just mature within what we're doing. So, but keeping it fun for sure.
That's it. My guest has been Dani Casey. She's one of the co-owners of Foam Brewing. The anniversary party will take place the weekend of May 1st through the 3rd. For more info on the brewery and their tap room, just head over to foambrewers.com. Dani, thanks so much for giving me a few minutes. I appreciate it. I will see you in Atlantic City.
Yes, excited. I'll see you then.
You got it. My thanks to everybody involved in the program, as well as my guest, Dani Casey from Foam Brewing. And, of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. Back Monday on the Joe Piscopo Show at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. Cheers, everybody.